It was very freaky for me because when you write a book, obviously a little bit of yourself goes into that character. And then when the actor plays the character, he is picking up what's in there. And so I was essentially watching Tom Cruise be me in a little bit of a way. And that was very weird. He did a great job of playing the character, but those secret bits that I knew were me, it was just like he knew it was me too. And so I was almost watching not only the character, but myself on the screen. And I thought, yeah, he did a great job. He really nailed it. And the secret bits that only I knew about, he detected, and I was very pleased about that. I love that about movie audiences generally, that you're doing something collective, especially in a large theater where there's a lot of you. The collective intake of breath, the collective laugh, the collective shock. I found that to be terrific. You know, what I had intended one person to feel at a particular moment, suddenly 1,000 people were feeling simultaneously. And I thought it showed something was working. You know, 1,000 people having the same reaction minute by minute. It was working really well. I think she is so important. You know, the casting of Turner was so important because she, in a way, is Reacher. You know, she has his old job. She is him. She has all his capabilities, his experience, his intelligence, his aptitude. She is the new version. And so, in a way, he's meeting himself. And she had to really understand that and really play it. Otherwise, it just wasn't going to work. And so she was really the crucial part of the casting for this one. And I was really happy when it was her. And I'm really happy seeing what she's doing. She's really nailing it. I've met women like this. I've met Army women and exactly like this. And she is doing a great job. I think the humor, Reacher's humor is actually, there's more of it than people think. You know, he does have this deadly, dry, sardonic wit, and he was never particularly worried about the chain of command, and of course now he's out of the Army, why should he worry about it at all? So he's perfectly prepared to take on a guy like Morgan and give him a real hard time. But of course, unfortunately, Morgan has the trump card up his sleeve and wins that first encounter, which again is a huge emotional turnaround for Reacher. Suddenly, he's not in the situation that he thought he was, and he has to kind of start from zero and work his way out of a new problem. Patrick, in a way, is a sort of frightening thing for a book writer to look at, because somebody once made the point to me that, of course, Reacher is my creation, but all the bad guys are my creation as well. So I'm looking at Patrick and I'm thinking, that character, the hunter, that is somehow part of me too. And he plays it to such chilling effect that I start to think, really, do I want to be that person? But evidently I am. This is not the same setting as the book, but you know, New Orleans is incredibly cinematic. It's full of interesting stuff. It's full of things that are already kind of creepy and dangerous in some ways. And you know, I know the production has exploited that tremendously. The physical geography, the people in the streets, all that kind of thing are right there. I mean, it's a terrific location, and it works great. He was very sensitive to the adaptation, but also bold about it, in as much as exactly like I would want him to do. And I remember having a conversation with him right at the beginning, saying, you know, do whatever you need to do, because I firmly believe that a movie is different from a book. It has different requirements, and therefore Ed needed to have the emotional freedom to do whatever he needed to do. So I wanted him to be very clear about that, and I think obviously he was. And then the script came out, and what really, really impressed me about the screenplay was how Ed has used this long, distinguished career that he has got. I mean, Ed is Ed. We know this. And he doesn't feel any need at all to say, hey, I wrote this. He wrote a screenplay that is purely for the actors. I thought, what a generous screenplay. He's just throwing it all to the actors, and the movie will succeed or fail based on those performances. So I felt it was a fantastically ego-free script, very generous in as much as he's just throwing these great scenes for the actors, and you know, I assume they're loving doing it. It's what you get when you've been as good as Ed for as long as Ed has, I think. Yeah, the first movie was a great movie in its own right, but it had a lot of weight to carry in that it was the first Reacher movie, and it had to introduce Reacher to the international audience, say this is who the guy is. Well, we did that. That's done. So now in this movie, the credits roll, and Reacher is just as badass as he wants to be. He does not need to be explained. He's just 100 miles an hour through the entire story being Reacher. It's great to see.